We are the Hebrew Israelites. We come week in, week out to prophesy the downfall of America and the upliftment of the children of Israel, who are known in this time by misnomers, proverbs, bywords, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. They are truly the Lord's people. These are the lost sheep of the house of Israel, Israelites, according to their nationality, that have been scattered in every land, speaking every tongue. It says that in Deuteronomy 28 and 64, right? This is a critical aspect of our doctrine, right? Who our audience to minister is? Hey, that's whoever has the spirit, right, to bear witness that this is the truth, right? It says that in Romans 8:16, right? So if your spirit can bear witness that what we're saying is the truth, hey, that's an indicator that you are the Lord's people. You are among the hopeful elect, right? Hey, and our Lord, that's what we coming out here to profess the word of the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. So we want to open up formally by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua B'Hashem Rekakadas. Yes, Yahweh, that's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There are many gods, but the God of the Israelites, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his proper name is Yahweh. Yah, he, Yahweh, to be, or he to exist. He's omnipresent. He's omnipotent, right? He is actually the father of the first spirit created. The spirit that's responsible for creating this physical earth that we dwell in and we inhabit at this time. And that first spirit created is his son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, right? Jesus Christ, which is a Greek title. But our Lord and Savior was a Hebrew, and he has a Hebrew name, which is Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach, right? A lot of people say it's Yeshua, Yahuwah, Yahshua, right? But the true proper name in the Paleo, the Assyrian Hebrew, is Yahweh Shah. He's the deliverer, he's the savior. Hey, because if you look around the earth at the condition of so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, they're at the bottom of every facet of society. They're languishing. They're not given any respect. They're not given the respect of sovereigns, right? They're not represented, but rather oppressed, used, and abused, and have been totally robbed of the knowledge of who they truly are according to the Bible. But that's what we're coming out here to do, to let you know that, hey, even if you don't know this gospel, hey, it's going to be taught to you, right? Because it says that in 2 Corinthians 4 and 3, right? A matter of fact, get this in, get this in 2 Corinthians 4 and 3, right? Because a lot of our people are lost to their true biblical nationality or what's required of them. Why? Because, hey, every 2 to 3 months in this society, what do you have? You have pagan holidays being observed in Babylon and abroad, right? Our people are fully pagans, which represents that they're still among the blind. They're still in the congregation of the dead, right? So that's what we come up here to let them know that, hey, you are moving in error according to your power. This is why we're suffering, because of our rebellious nature, because of our disobedience. Hey, so Lord willing, is be able to find double honors to the elders and apostles of Greatmillstone, who teach and rule well, right? Men that are worthy of double honors, right? You see a lot of men this week, they teachers past, you know, so-called Kevin Samuels and men of that ilk that, you know, they look to as teachers and leaders, and they're mourning. But while our leaders and our elders are yet alive, hey, we give them double honors for raising us up in the knowledge of the Bible through the power and spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. Because these men that are given honor and reverence, they are not worthy. But the men that are worthy, you know, the poor righteous, you know, this society is not for our turn. But hey, we recognize the elders and apostles of Greatmillstone as our leaders, the men that are worthy of double honors, the men that God has raised up in this time, in this hour, to give us understanding of the Bible, to give us vision in darkness, right? Those men are worthy of double honors. And also, you know, salutations to you many brothers that are towing the line, you know, that are doing the works of the righteous in this time. Lord willing, y'all are among the elect. You know, we about to jump in the scriptures, Lord willing, to be edified.
2 Corinthians 4 and 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost.
It is what?
It is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world,
Esau, Edom,
right, have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahweh Shai, who is the image of God, should shine unto them.
Should shine on them. This is in John 3:19. Hey, and that's what they don't have, that light, right, of Yahweh Shai, the light of the truth, right? It says that in John 17:17, sanctify them through thy truth, right? Sanctify means to make clean. Just like light, it gives you vision in darkness. But our people are lost to their true biblical nationality and the responsibility that comes with it, right? Like I was saying, every 2 to 3 months in this society, you have a holiday, a pagan holiday being represented, where the main people that join and partake in these customs are so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? And they say that black people have this nasty reputation in the earth for being consumers, right? Spending trillions of dollars. Y'all don't have your hospitals, schools, any type of programs. Why? Because look, their money is constantly going to serve in the interest of these nations that are around about. Right here it is, just to go and partake in a Mother's Day custom, you have to get gas, flowers, cards. Like, it pillages your pocket. It's no way that you can partake in Christmas without spending Federal Reserve notes, debt notes, right? It's no way that you can partake in any of these heathenistic customs without being shaken down, right? Here it is, black people don't even have 1/2 of 1/10 of this society's wealth. But the face of all festivals, all of these pagan customs, you see our people, the main ones that are in the stores. Valentine's Day, getting flowers. Mexicans, so-called Issacharites, right? They are always in here. They're celebrating 4th of July. You see what I'm saying? Buying up the big boxes of fireworks that cost $200, $300. That's money being spent. Yes, sir. That's money being spent just to partake in these holidays. And that's what the dominant society, because the people that call themselves Jews and are not, they run all of these manufacturing markets and hubs. You know, from the floral distributing hubs to the diamond dealers, because right now around this time, a lot of people are getting engaged. They're getting married. You know, when you look at the garment districts, if you're buying your mother's shoes or clothes, just like with Easter, that's making these stores move inventory. You observing these pagan holidays is actually making these other nations fat. They have incentive to pay money to the radio stations to run ads around Easter, where you can come to K&G and get 2 suits, 3, 4, 5 suits. This fabric has been sitting around the past 2 years. The churches have been shut down. Now they have an opportunity to do what? Pillage the pockets. See what I'm saying? Esau doesn't get into Easter. Like, you know, just imagine these Edomites walking around with purple and pink suits. That's something you're not gonna see. Some pastel alligators. That's what he makes for you niggas. Why? Because he know you're in captivity, right? Y'all are a royal priesthood. Y'all like fancy things. Y'all like nice things. So, hey, rather than tell you to, you know, hey, refrain from observing these holidays, why would they do that? That would be adverse, right? That'll be a conflict of interest, right? Telling you that you the Lord's people, y'all not welcome in here. Y'all, power is angry with y'all. Y'all supposed to be observing the Feast of Dedication, the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? But this is why the nations round about it said that in Psalms 83:3, right? You got some more on that? Oh, yeah, come on, bring that up.
This is John 3:17.
Come.
For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already.
Hey, and that's 2/3 of our people, right? It's no need to put a curse on them. They're condemned already, right? Their conscience is seared with a hot iron, and their hurtful works are going to continue until it's filled up to his measure and the Most High bring that judgment down, right? Hence Kevin Samuels, right? A lot of our people, they think because sentence against an evil work isn't executed speedily, right? 2 Thessalonians 1:6. They think that the Most High is not that same old man of war. You know, that same power that hates and abhors wickedness, right? But this is why the Lord's servants are coming out to do what? Call you to remembrance. You once knew these things. This was once commonplace to you. You once taught these things to your sisters and your brothers, right? But this is why the Most High is angry, right? With the wicked every day, right? And just like in this society, they tell you that what? You're supposed to show your mother honor and attention and reverence on one particular day, right? So now we're about to jump into the scriptural understanding of how are you supposed to honor your mother. Are you supposed to wait until, you know, the second week in March? Because the origins of Mother's Day go all the way back to 1907, right? The 19th century, where woman, Ann Jarvis,
you know, she lost her mother, and she wanted to show her appreciation for mothers and what they go through.
Right.
So she had a campaign that she launched to honor the mothers. At first, it didn't catch much, you know, but then, you know, there was political backing behind it,
right?
Because they realized there was a chance to monopolize people's funds,
right?
You know, to add to their pockets,
right?
And they would, like everything else, the Christian church came along and undertook it, and they used this very same scripture we're about to bring out to, you know, put it into effect into the church,
right?
Okay.
And Ann Jarvis, this push was right at the beginning of the so-called women's liberation and feminism.
Right.
So, you know, she was saying there's too many patriarchal holidays in this society. What do we have for the woman?
Yeah.
Right? And now that women have been getting empowered in society, it's led up to what? Women now complaining about men coming into their space. Why? Because y'all wanted equality.
Right.
You know, you want to go into men's space. Now men are going into y'all space, and now look, it's an uproar. Right? Because hey, the Bible talks about order, balance, right? And when you're dealing with order, a woman has a place in society, in a household, and a man has a place. Is a man's role equal to a woman? No. Is a woman's role equal to a man? No. So the Bible talks about balance. The Bible pushes balance and harmony by everyone knowing their role, knowing their position in the relationship. But Esau blurs the lines to the point where now people are going back and, you know, retroactively changing the sex on their birth certificates, changing the pronouns of their genders. You see what I'm saying? Just foolishness. Why? Because Esau's all about chaos and confusion. Our God is not the author of confusion.
And that's the ultimate dishonor, that a mother could give birth to a son, and the son dishonor his mother by saying, oh, you didn't make me the right sex, so I'm going to change it.
Yeah, and you dishonoring your father, because you're saying, I don't want to further my legacy. I want to cut it off right now. It's going to end with me, Dad. That's
the end of the family bloodline by you, you know.
Right. He coming to the Father's Day dinner with his boyfriend. You know,
decapitating your family by you know, castration,
damaging the stone, as the scriptures call it. Hey, but even though this sounds far-fetched, this is common in this society. Self-mutilation, sex change. Why? Because the God of this world has blinded the minds of 2/3 of our people into believing this chaotic way of thinking, this chaotic way of living. This death style is permissible. When, hey, the wages of sin is death. We are supposed to be the representation of righteousness, uprightness, piousness in the earth. But hey, Esau, if he has a product that's filthy and lewd, guess who's going to be the face that he puts on it to market it? So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
And that's how you even know that the Jabba Jab, you know, when he offered it first to us, That was someone ain't wasn't right on that.
That's right. They went from offering fries to offering burgers.
But yeah.
To offering donuts to offering weed to niggas.
Money too.
Right. They call it joints for jabs. And a lot of simple Jake went down there and got jabbed and stoned. Yeah. And now he's going to be languishing his health, but that spiritual barrier has been breached. Right? Because everyone don't understand crossing that line and taking these jabs, it's going to do something to your physiology, but spiritually. The Most High is saying, hey, you don't trust in me. I told you in Sirach 12:10 to never trust your enemy. You were sold in Deuteronomy 28:68 to your enemies. But you're not mindful of who you are and where you are in this time. Because if you don't know who you are according to your biblical nationality, everything that you go through will confuse you. Look at Kevin saying people mourning because they don't understand judgment. 2/3 of our people, they don't understand who they are. So when things happen, they are joined into the mind of Esau. Right? That's unfortunate. No. It says in 1 Samuel 2:6 that the Most High controls the issues of life and death. Right. Both sides of the spectrum. You know, God is love, but he's also a terrible, power. The heathens can't even say his name. He's that terrible. He get down on them. Flood everything except for 8 souls. And this is chronicled in 8 history books. This is our power, right? And it's nothing for this power to do what? Set us back as the praise of the earth. This is the season that we're in, judgment. Right before that baby is born, those contractions come, and it gets ugly. In that labor room, before that baby come, it gets ugly. Right? And before that kingdom come, we got to go through all of the curses written. Right? Jeremiah 30:6 chronicles Jacob's trouble in Jeremiah 30:6. So when we come out and we go into all of these different issues that are going on socially in geopolitics, it's really to give y'all a warning. Right. So we can connect the dots with what's going on in the earth with the Bible. Right. This is a living and breathing book. We're not in the Bible days, the hell if we ain't. Right? The Bible days began, you know what I'm saying, since the beginning. Right? But the last days began when Yahweh Shai was put on that cross. You know what I'm saying? A little over 2,000 years ago. Right? Hey, I don't want to engage. I hope she didn't see us looking. Give me any plague with the plague of the heart. Right? Our people. Hey, and even you know you was a crack fiend, mama. You always was a black fiend. So we just want to jump in the scriptures, continue to rebuke Mother's Day, and edify on the true understanding of how you honor your mother, according to the Bible. Salaki, brother.
This is Exodus 20:12. Says, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee.
Right. Say, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long on the land that the Lord gives you. Why? Because, hey, you come from your father and your mother. The father controls your gender, and he controls your nationality. The father holds the X and the Y chromosome, right? But the mother, she is like an incubator, so to speak. The father, right, puts the sperm, which is seed, into the mother, right? That sperm finds the egg. That ovulation process starts. 9 months later, a baby is born, right? And Proverbs 22:6 tells you to train up a child in the way that he should go. Son, when you grow up, don't crawl in another man's wrecking, right? You want to do what? Train up in the way you should go, man. You have a sex drive because God put that in you so you can lay seed in another woman and repeat the process. It sustains itself, right? That's right. Hey, bring this out one more time.
I was training my little boy on God put a man and a woman to be together to reproduce. A woman and a woman can't make a baby, but they can make a whole lot of spit. You know what I'm saying? God said reproduce.
Hey, that's an excellent point.
I was training my little boy on that. I didn't let him know he in the home of the city of the homosexuality. People escape their hometown and everything to be here because they're in the closet.
Hey, it's good that you in your son's life, because right now the LGBTQ community, they actually have an organization that flies underneath that banner called NAMBLA. It's called the North American Man Boy Love Association, where they are actually trying to lower the age of consent for you to be with a child. You know, because the so-called white man, if you know what's going on in the churches, the priests, they pedophiles.
I can say what you put on my head, two things. Pedophile remind me of that Catholic church, which is the Church of Satan.
Yeah, that's right.
And on top of that, when you talk about how they trying to kill us, don't want us to raise our kids, it reminded me of when Pharaoh said, kill all them kids. They kept reproducing too fast.
Hey, so
they said we can't kill them quick enough.
Give me some too. Hey, he's saying this.
I'm just telling you what hit my head after smoking.
Oh no, but
I'm just telling you what hit. I'm just giving you the truth.
Yeah, but
this ain't like I planned.
You have to understand, there's nothing new under the sun. In the same way we're under attack now.
So you believe it did happen because of him?
Oh, we're about to go into it, but like I was saying, your children are being raised with Dwayne Wade's children. Man, so you have to, at a premature time, more earlier, really educate them on a man and a woman and what their roles are in the family. Because if you feel like you got to wait till they become teenagers to have these conversations, the schools are already indoctrinating them.
But I'm raised them by then.
Hey, that's right. Hey,
but what I want to say before I go, no disrespect, everybody got an ear, but everybody can't hear. I heard what you said. I got an ear. It's seasoned and out of season, high or not.
Hey, hold Mark 13 and 20.
Magic made us. We hear with our eyes and see with our ear. Magic made us. We the impossible. We are the Hebrew Israelites.
That's right.
And you know what? Well, hold on, my boy. And when we back it up, true Hollywood story, not the one on VH1. When we back it up and tell you, see people giving tests of life. These are testimonies.
That's right.
Your God can't use you if you ain't been through nothing. Because you can't touch everybody's life. He needs somebody to experience mostly everything.
That's what he does.
Experience is the best teacher. That's why when you go to places and people hear people, you can touch them. How y'all feel each other, what y'all been through, the struggle.
Right.
You know, God, hold on, let me say something, Phil. If Yahshua Yahweh, Yahshua Yahweh is in you, we pass no one. He's so high, he can't be touched. If he in us, we can touch him right here. We are one. Right. So hold up. So everything's supposed to come together if he in you, and he in me. We got to stop worrying about what it look like. What you want don't always come wrapped in a pretty package.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna give this one scripture real quick.
You, the way you are, I know God come at you with calm. And I'll tell you how he slick you to teach you.
Oh, you know,
he teach all us different. Intellect on certain levels. Right. He come at everybody different. He say my sheep shall hear my voice. And I hear your voice.
Yeah. But the voice is the scripture. So we gonna let that be the.
I'm gonna let you know before I go. This is the truth. I said before I got here, I drunk up here, I smoked a blunt. I really don't want to talk like that. And I still knew. I called
you know, if you was in court, they'll say you got to come back in 30 days because you intoxicated.
They'll put you out the house and tell the truth. Hey,
like you can't talk right now because you
tell the truth. It ain't even true. Don't nobody know God, but
hey, real quick, let them get a scripture come out, and I'm gonna get your comment. No, you good? 13 and 20. No, Mark 13 and 20. You good? I just want you to hear the scripture.
This is Mark 13 and 20.
Come.
And except that the Lord had shortened those days.
He said, except that the Lord shortened those days. He's going to have to come back and actually redeem and save us from this condition that we in. Right? Go ahead.
No flesh should be saved.
No what?
No flesh should be saved.
Hey, because what? They're trying to push a death style on our people. Where they're trying to depopulate the earth by convincing our men to date men, which leads to what? Depopulation. Right? It said, will no flesh be saved? And that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to pervert the minds of the people to do what? Look at the same gender as...
I'm going to try to say the same thing. You said it a different way.
Right.
It was called depopulate.
Right.
But he came another way to say depopulate. Listen, so.
Right.
He said, they're messing with the drug. I can't even do cocaine no more. It ain't real. He said, when I did this, when I did that.
Right.
He said, I think they tried to depopulate us.
Right.
He said they had to get him. He said the government got involved with the Brillos and with this and that. So, you know, they're masterminding. Like y'all might know this better than we do.
Right.
But like what I'm saying is, what he say? When you hear a wise man will sit up on a wise counsel. So my job want to see here. I talk too much. I drink.
Hey, get this in the Ecclesiastes, the 5th chapter, real quick for the brother.
A lot of things.
Whenever you get it, bring it out.
Y'all walk away on sight.
Right, but hey, to him that to him much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
Right, and one thing about it, if you know, you need to really take this seriously and teach.
He's gonna start with the teaching
right?
first.
Because you're right. Because This is church right now. So when you approach, just like when you approach the white man church, when that preacher up there, people give them the due respect. And the Bible tells us to do the same thing. When you come up, you got to be more quick to hear the brother. You can bring out what you got.
This is Ecclesiastes 5:1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God.
So this is the house of the God, right? He said, heaven is my throne, earth is my footstool. He dwelled not in buildings made with hands. Where two or more combined, this is the house of God right now. It said, keep thy foot when I enter the house of God. Means proceed with caution. Get yourself in the mind of respect. Just like if you go to the White House, them is just some low-level Edomites. But people would give the so-called Donald Trump, Joe Biden respect. And they're just men in this world, they're nothing. Right? But so do you want to give the men of the Lord even that much more respect? You're not gonna come wanting to be heard, but you want to come to hear. Keep thy foot, go ahead.
Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of food.
Because a lot of things that we didn't come out here to be ministered unto. We came out here to minister.
Yeah, but I said I
so
came
you,
to listen.
yeah, well, no, it don't seem like it, because ever since you come out, you haven't been keeping your foot in bed.
I've been quiet recently.
Well, I don't know. But it say be ready. No, because we actually have a lesson that we were going into. Listen, we have a lesson that we were going into that prior to you coming. So you can't just come and think that whatever you saying should take precedent over the topic that we were going into. And the topic that we're going into, we want to jump into Sirach, the 3rd chapter right now. Sirach 3:1. I appreciate it, brother. You just got to be more ready to hear than to speak. You know what I'm saying? First off, you got to have rule over your spirit, brother. Can you tell yourself to be quiet? Can you tell yourself to be quiet? Hey, the scriptures say, keep thy foot. Hey, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You see, when I talk, you talk. We can sing at the same time, but we can't talk at the same time. No, we can sing at the same time, but we can't talk at the same time. When I'm talking, you be quiet.
No, now I do. Because I know this.
All right. Hey, get this real. Hey, I don't want to rebuke you, brother.
No, you can't.
Have rule over your spirit.
You have no power.
Your son is trying to talk.
Now I'll be quiet.
Hey.
You were right. You can't receive that.
Give me Sirach 11:7.
You were right.
Sirach 11:7. Bring it
You
out.
won't receive that.
Hey, this is a fool.
Yeah, he shot me. My name Isaac, son of
Hey,
Abraham, brother Ishmael. True Hebrew Israelite. Come as you are, as as you are.
This is Sirach 11:7.
Bring it out.
Blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
It said, blame not before thou examined the truth. Hey, look at this nut, man.
Nut, where your kid?
It
When
brings
they can look at your house, you probably won't even talk to your kid. But you preaching God's word.
Right.
You preaching Yahshua's word. Where your child?
Hey,
Don't train these people being trained. Train your kids. Get my kids. Look at it. Why not? Why you think I'm stupid? This my son.
hey, bring out Sirach 11:7, and then we're going to continue to edify on Mother's Day.
Sirach 11:7.
You dismiss.
Blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
It said, blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
Understand first.
Understand first.
Then rebuke.
Then what?
Then rebuke.
Hey, give me this in Proverbs 1:20. Proverbs 1:20. Yeah, because this is what happens. They hate him that rebukes in the gate. Hey, build not on another man's foundation. Go teach up there. No.
True worship.
No.
True
You are only here because of us.
No.
If we weren't here, you're a demon. You can bring this out, Proverbs 1:20.
Proverbs 1:20.
Man, look at your child.
Wisdom cries without. She uttereth her voice in the streets.
Go ahead.
She cries in the chief places of concourse.
She cried in the chief place of concourse. This nigga has no wisdom. Hey, she cried in the chief place of concourse. We coming into the knowledge and understanding of the Bible. Right? Go ahead, bring it up.
She cried in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gate. In the city, she uttered her words, saying, how long ye simple ones will ye love simplicity?
You ain't murder shit. Give me Sirach 22:13. Yeah, X. Yeah, you say it. That's good. That's good. Sirach 22:13. Sirach 22:13. Bring it up for the school.
I tell you about
This nigga's a goddamn fool, man.
My best friend, boy.
Our people are
right now, you a damn fool, so you're playing with
the plague of the heart.
You're playing with it.
Hey,
you're playing
Sirach
with
22 and 13.
Sirach 22
You have no
13. Talk not much with a fool.
Talk not much with what?
With a fool.
Talk not much with what?
With a fool.
Talk not much with what?
With a fool.
Go ahead.
And go not to him that there hath no understanding. Beware of him.
Hey,
Lest thou have trouble.
Hey, bring this out from the top one more time for the fool.
Sirach 22 and 13. Talk not much with a fool.
The Bible says talk not much with a fool.
And go not to him that hath no understanding.
He has no understanding.
Beware of him.
Beware of him.
Lest thou have trouble.
Hey, we having trouble right now. We were going into Mother's Day, but we engaged this goddamn fool. Right? Give me this in Proverbs 24:7. Right? Talk not much with a fool because you'll have trouble in the flesh. It's nothing constructive being done right now. Right to the general public, it's like two fools just yelling. They can't discern who has wisdom and who is a goddamn fool. Hey, but just like the old lady tried to tell him, take his child and go up the street. But this fool got demons on him. Right? Proverbs 24:7, you can bring it out.
Proverbs 20. Wisdom is too high for a fool.
It said wisdom is too high for a bald-headed fool. Go ahead.
He openeth his mouth in the gate.
Hey, it said wisdom is too high for a fool. When they open their mouth, it said wisdom is found in the streets. Right? We just brought that out in Proverbs. But what happens is when these men come before us, right, the sacrifice of fools, they're not coming with respect and sincerity, asking questions. They come, you know, with ulterior motives. They act like they agree. And then they start talking over us, and when we have to rebuke them, right? That's all that happened because I just didn't relinquish the floor to them.
That goes back to what we were our conversation earlier on the phone. They love what we're saying until we correct them.
No. And notice, I corrected them with the scriptures.
Right.
I said, keep Ecclesiastes 5. It said, keep thy foot when thou going to the house of God. Be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools. You have to understand, when we post these videos and brothers watch it, after he get past all of this goddamn psycho babble and mumbo jumbo, brothers like, goddamn, you need to take back control of your camera.
Yeah.
Here it is, you got the camera on this brother and he's not landing his plane. He's just taking flight and he's trying to use this as a platform to teach and push and propagate his message. When the scriptures even tell us, if you knew the scriptures, build not on another man's foundation. Right? Here it is, we're at the four corners of the streets. Right? And guess what? All around us is just open territory. If you have a doctrine or a particular understanding of the Bible that you want to push, nothing is stopping you from making it your life's work to come out weekly and teach your shit. But they only become, I ain't gonna call them smart fellas, they fart smellers, as the brother in Europe calls them. They only want to get smart and intellectual and want to match wits when they come before us. They wouldn't do this to their pastor. They give him all the respect due. Notice I used an example of the President of the United States. If you out there waiting for him, you can't even be making noise. You'll be removed. If you're speaking out of turn, you'll be removed. But they play with the Lord's servants. It said that they misuse the Lord's servants. Right? They think that we're here to be played with. Right? When you see that your wisdom is compelling you and you're being confounded, and we would just want to allow this to be an open platform for any old two-bit nigger to get up and spew his madness, then I get this in Galatians 4:16. Galatians 4:16. Hey, because when you tell people the truth, you know, that cognitive dissonance and Jacob's pride, it's a certain thing that happens. You can bring it out when you got it. Galatians 4:16. Once you correct them, then you're not a man of the Lord no more. That's what our elders have always said. Right? Jacob loved you until you correct his black ass. And don't correct him out of the Bible. He might accept it from your heart. That's why 1 Peter 4:11 says, if any man speak, let him speak the communication, the oracles. Right? You can bring out what you got.
Galatians 4:16. I am therefore become Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Right? Get this in John 17:17 since I quoted it earlier. The truth. What is the truth? Right? This is what eludes a lot of our people. Right? We're going to let y'all know what the truth is right now. John 17:17, Psalms 119, 142. Going to get exactly into what the truth is. This is what our people resist. Right? They say this is the condemnation that light is coming to the world, but men love darkness rather than light. They're not trying to hear this because they deeds. The wicked is all the fuck. Right? You can bring out what you got.
This is John 17:17.
Huh.
Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth.
What is truth?
Thy word is truth.
Hey, give me this in Psalms 119, 142, and then we're going to jump right back into this Mother's Day edification and rebuke. Yeah, man. Jake, they the prophet killers. And you can see, you know, if the white man wasn't around to, you know, keep law and order, a lot of these Jakes, you know, the way I see them responding and communicating with us, hey, this is that same wicked and adulterous generation that killed Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Right? You can bring what you got.
This is Psalms 19 and 14.
Psalms 119, 142. Salaki, we just going to touch on the truth real quick. Because it said, am I therefore your enemies because I do what? Tell you to keep your foot when you come and deal with us. Or leave. Matthew 7:6 says what? Cast not thy pearls before swine. We got to deal with every two-bit nigger in the general public. He that is wicked, Revelation 22:11. Let him be wicked still. Right, you bro, what you got?
This is Psalms 119 and 142.
Huh.
Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
And thy what?
And thy law is the truth.
Hey, these some lawless, rebellious, wicked niggers. He's not trying to change. He said, I already know that.
Right.
Pride.
Right.
You know, a wise man to let you know I'm still learning.
He said, I'll shut up, but he kept on talking.
And then he reserved the time to talk when I'm speaking. You know, but this is a hallmark of a wicked nigger that has no rule over his spirit, that has been marked for death. Right? Some are being marked for life by this word, but some it said that this gospel shall be preached throughout all the earth, and then shall the end come. Everybody's going to hear this good news. Everyone is going, they're not going to be able to use ignorance as an excuse. You see what I'm saying? It says, and then shall the end come. After this gospel be preached all throughout the earth. All right, so jumping right back into Mother's Day, let's jump back to Exodus 20 and 12, and then we can jump to Sirach 3. And from there, we'll move around a bit. Because the brother came up bringing forth good points when he was talking about the LGBT having to speak with his child. But you cannot just, we're not relinquishing the floor to you. Right? 1 Corinthians 14 and 40 said, let everything be done decently and in order. You out of order, bro. And guess what? The order that we established. If we say, hey brother, let's just go in the scripture, have enough respect for the word. You don't got to respect us, but hey, the Most High reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. You know who the prophets are because you'll see them out religiously. Not just somebody coming up wanting to argue and debate, but the men that the Most High put the Spirit on to go out there and do the work in season and out of season. Those are the Lord's true servants. Lord willing, he doesn't take the Spirit away from them. Right? You can bring what you got.
This is Exodus 20 and 12. Huh. Honor thy father and thy mother, that the days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee.
He said, honor thy father and thy mother because there's blessings that come with that. Right? So how do we honor them? We could jump into Sirach, the 3rd chapter. Right? Hey, and I'm gaining more experience and temperance because I'm going to have to learn to dismiss brothers. You can listen, but we're not taking questions right now. We got to, damn near, we're going to have to reserve a time for Q&A. Hey, brother, we'll deal with you at the end because you might have demons on you and want to outmaster us. Right?
He mentioned he just finished drinking and smoking.
Right. If you go to the white man's court and the judge asks you, Have you been drinking or doing any illegal drugs, cocaine, marijuana? And you say, hey, I hit a blunt 2 months ago. No, I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago. They'll say you're under the influence because it stays in your system for 30 days. They'll say you're inebriated. You're in contempt of court. You can't come before us any old type of way. But our people have been deceived into finding value in people that don't look like them. When God said that he would raise up a servant from among your brethren. But they only want to preserve that respect for the goddamn white man. Esau, Edom that the Bible speaks of. That's why the Lord resisted the proud. Because that's one of the Edomites. That's the white man's chief attribute. Got pride. You know, the book of Job talks about Esau's pride. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee. You know, that's his chief attribute. But that's what our people, they've taken on the same characteristic. Where they walk around in their oppression. Right? They said that God hates a poor, proud man. A proud look. The Lord loves a broken and contrite spirit. Here it is, he said that he went to jail for murder. Right? But he's still coming out not broken, not contrite. So the Most High, lest he repents, the Most High got judgments for these niggas because he's heard the word. He was even using names like Yahshua. And I didn't notice. The Most High put it on our spirit not to correct that nigga. Because that name is precious, that name is valuable.
Also, it goes back to him coming more to here than to
Give
offer the sacrifice of food. You know, like if he was really, you know, in tune to learning, we probably would have ended up giving him the name. But because he came with a different name, right, he revealed who he served.
Right, and he was speaking out of his own heart. 1 Peter 4:11 says, if any man speak, let him speak the oracles of the Most High. What are the oracles? Right. Get this in Sirach 33:3 real quick, and then we'll jump right back. What are the oracles of the Most High? If any man speak, in 1 Peter 4:11, it says, let him speak the oracles. Go ahead. So what are the oracles of the Most High? You can bring it out.
Ecclesiastes, Sirach 33:3. A man of understanding trusteth in the law, and the law is faithful unto him as an oracle.
The law is faithful unto him as what?
As an oracle.
Hey, if any man speak, you need to be telling our people what they should or shouldn't be doing according to the Bible. If you just spewing and you just talking, hey, that's going against protocol. Right. So go ahead and study, go back, and then come back and teach your people. Right. But don't wait till we out here to try to match wits with us.
And he had the oracles in his hands.
Right.
He had it in his hands. He stayed with it.
And that's right. Hey, and you know, Father forgive them, for they know not what they do. Yahweh Shah, what would he say? Father, work with him, work on his heart. It's not up to us to condemn, or we don't have that in our power. You know, I didn't throw up a Hebrew, Salak Rayim, why Nashim, why Haragim on the nigga. Why? Because, hey, we understand that, hey, he's condemned already if he don't get with this. The Most High sees what's going on, and the angels, the eyes of the Lord are upon the simple kingdom. They see what's going on, the works of the righteous and the works of the wicked. Right? And judgment is in the hands of the Father of spirits at the end of the day.
Sirach 3:1. Hear me, your father, O children, and do thereafter, that ye may be safe. For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and have confirmed the authority of the mother over thy sons. Whosoever honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sins.
Hey, because in this society, you know, unfortunately, a lot of fathers get a bad rap. You know, a lot of nasty stereotypes that we leave our children. You know, we abuse our women. You know, these are adverse effects of us being brought low. You know, we don't have representation in the earth. And when we are represented, it's negative, right? So with a lot of our people that don't have a father, it's a weighty matter to still show your father that necessary honor. You know, a lot of households are ran by females. So it's nothing for a negative, disparaging comment to roll off someone's tongue about their father. When honoring your father is a big aspect of you growing spiritually as a man of God, as an Israelite. You know, pride. You know, I'm so proud of you, son. No, the Bible doesn't deal with pride. Pride is hateful before the Most High, but the Bible deals with honor. Right? So how you honor your father, not make him proud, that's the worldly shit. Right? How you honor your father, the scriptures are going to go into it. You go ahead.
Sirach 3:3. Whosoever honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sins. And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure.
Hey, it says in the word that charity covers a multitude of sins. And where does charity begin? At home. That's why you covering a multitude of sins by you're not just going to be respectful to the niggas out in the street, your teachers, the politician, the cafeteria lady, which you should do, but that's what goes on in society. Sometimes the child shows more respect and reverence to people outside the house than they do to their own parents. Calling their mama by their first name, but calling your teacher Miss So-and-so. Right? Charity, love, respect, all that begins at home. The old people used to say, sweep around your own front door. I can't be going out in the street trying to teach the public if I'm not teaching these things in the house to my wife. When the scripture says if the woman learn anything, let her learn at home. So it says the roles for our nation, it begins in the house. And as a child, it begins with what? You honoring your mother and your father before you go out into the world. Guess what? You are in your parents' house in their custody. Some children have actually been given up for adoption. Some children have been aborted. This is something called abortion survivors, meaning the mama tried to whack them, but since they couldn't kill the baby within their window, these children, they grow up and they actually go and face their mother and hug her after she tried to whack you. You were an abortion survivor. You know, the doctor couldn't get the right limb or he couldn't get the cognitive area. So they might be missing an arm because Esau, we're going to get into abortion and Roe versus Wade in a second. But even if your mother is giving you up for adoption, you're supposed to still give her that level of respect because she carried you, right? She gave birth to you. The same thing that goes with the father, right? You carry it.
Sirach 3:6. He that honoreth his father shall have long life, and he that is thus disobedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother.
Bring it down one more time.
He that honoreth his father shall have a long life.
He that honoreth his father shall have a long life. Go ahead.
And he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother.
Shall be a comfort to his mother. Right? In old age, you're going to be, able to lead the household. Right? You're going to have the wisdom to give your mother instruction and guidance. Right? You go ahead.
He that feareth the Lord will honor his father and will do service unto his parents as to his masters.
As to his masters. Like in John 9, they say good master, which is teacher. You're going to give them the same honor as a teacher. The ones that are going to raise you up in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is a weighty matter. Right? Our elders and apostles. Those are the men that, in a lot of ways, they're like our spiritual fathers. Why? Because they raised us up. Right? You go ahead.
Honor thy father and mother, both in word and deed.
And in deed, because there's a lot of people in society, they say they honor their mother, but in deeds, hey, they're dishonorable children. A homosexual male, like we were talking about earlier. Here is you a full-fledged fag, but you talking about you love your mom. You can say it, but not in deed, because you're not giving her no grandchildren. You're cutting off your legacy at the growing. You go ahead.
Honor thy father and mother both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. For the blessing of the father establisheth the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundation.
Hey, but what?
But the curse of the mother rooteth out foundation.
Hey, but it said the blessings of the father established the household. When Jake was coming up, I was going into the father's role in procreation. The father has the X and the Y chromosome, so he controls the child's gender and the child's nationality. Right? That's why it says that in Numbers 14 and 18. Right? Bring this out in Numbers real quick and we'll hold it. The blessings of the father establish the household. Why do you think a lot of the houses inside of Babylon and abroad are giving birth to monsters? A lot of these sexual deviants are coming out of single parent households where the mother, she's the one that does the disciplining, right? She's the one that does the correcting and the rebuking. This is why I said the blessing of the father established the household. A lot of times, you can just tell who actually comes from that household with two parents and that has structure and discipline just by how that child is conducting themselves, right? But it said the curse of the mother rooteth out the foundation, right? And hey, that's what goes on in America all day. You know, houses and families being destroyed. They say 80% of divorces are initiated by the women. You see what I'm saying? The face of abortion is a black woman, right? They said going back to the 1970s when abortions really began and picked up, they said our numbers would be between 80 to 100 million Negroes here in America, right? And keep in mind, it's so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans going to these Margaret Sanger Planned Parenthood abortion clinics, whacking their babies wholesale, right? So the blessing of the father established the household. And you are who your father is. You know, those fake Jews, they say because so many men died in that manufacturing house, they said that they established their lineage through their mother. So they established their lineage. If their mother was of that lineage and of that gene, it matters not if your father was. That's how you're able to get all type of benefits and incentives and reparations for your mothers being a part of those men, a part of, you know, those Amalekites or those fake Jews that went through that manufactured, you know, where they exaggerated the numbers, you know, during the time of World War II, right? But we're willing to let you know that how do you identify who you are truly? It's not by who your mother is, because the mother doesn't bear the seed, right? You can bring this out, Numbers 14 and 18.
This is Numbers 14.
It might be Numbers 1 and 18. Numbers 1 and 18. Numbers 14 and 18, that's about reincarnation. Yeah, Numbers 1 and 8, where it talks about how we declare our polls to the house of our fathers. You know, but that's in a patriarchal society, right? This is a matriarchal society, right? And you have to understand, in Greece and Rome, they were worshiping deities like Sybil and Rhea, right? You right? So it's nothing new under the sun. And in Greco-Rome, guess who Paul was writing his letters to, right? In Romans 1 and 7, it said, to all be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, called to be saints. So the same way our people are giving their energy and putting their spirit in this woman worship today, they were doing the same thing when we were in our Greco-Roman captivity. That's right. You know, Tammuz is mama. You know what I'm saying? All the way, you know what I'm saying? Then you're dealing with ISIS. You know what I'm saying? Then in Babylon, you know, you got a whole nother set of Ceramicists. You know, you got a whole nother set of deities. But it's the same energy that our people tap into to defy their power. All right, you can bring up what you got.
This is Numbers 1 and 18.
How you doing, brother?
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families, by the house of their fathers.
By the what?
By the house of their fathers.
Hey, so you are who your father are, right? Go ahead.
According to the numbers of the names, the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by the polls.
By their polls. So you can jump back to Sirach 3 and 9, right? So how we declare who we are as far as our biblical nationality is not by who our mother is, but rather who your father is. You know, this is a big aspect of our doctrine that a lot of people can't get past their carnal senses to understand, right? If there's a so-called black man, Haitian man, Jamaican man, Mexican man, and he lays down with an Edomite, that child is not mixed. You are who your father is. Why? Because the father puts the seed into the woman, and essentially the child has that father's spirit. Of course, he's going to take on characteristics of his mother. You know, just like if I get a coffee bean and I grow it at different elevations on a mountain. It's still a coffee bean, although it's going to take on the characteristics of the environment that it's grown in. But you can't say it's mixed. You can't mix a seed, right? So this is why you have Blake Griffin, you know, being able to dunk like a Haitian. Although his mother might be a white person, Drake is another example. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth in this society, where this whole designation of being mixed is used commonplace. I'm mulatto. No, if your daddy black, you was a nigga, and the so-called white man had a one-drop rule. You know, look at Thomas Jefferson. He was a president, and he had babies with a woman by the name of Sally Hemings. She was a slave. You know, the nickel. The Monticello plantation is that house that's on the back of a nickel. And that's the house that Thomas Jefferson lived in. But in the bottom of that house, he had a quarter for his slave, Sally Hemings. He actually had children with her and grandchildren to this day. But did he allow them not to be bondmen and bondwomen? You know, his Edomite children, for the longest, they didn't acknowledge them as their brothers and sisters. Up until recently. You know, you see them all in a picture. Look, you got this nigga looking just like Thomas Jefferson. And the Bible calls him a tare. Right? Hey, give me the parable of the wheat and tares real quick. You know, just to edify. Because in this present time, we don't use terms like mixed according to the Bible. You are who your father is. So, hey, if there's a so-called white man that impregnates a Mexican woman, those children are tares. You know, just like the Spaniards and the conquistadors. That's what they did. Just like the so-called white man. That's what he did. The English. You know, the French in Haiti. The British in Nigeria. You know, among the righteous seed, the so-called white man sold his seed. And one thing about this parable that we're going to go into is the parable of the wheat and the tares. You know, the Most High spoke parabolically. That's why in Matthew 13 and 10 it said, it's given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Right? But unto them it is not given. You know, Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 22 also goes into those mysteries. Right? But one major mystery, right, a major aspect of our doctrine is that there's no such thing as mixed. But just because you have a certain melanin content, that doesn't make you an Israelite. Because the so-called white man has had sex with Israelite women. And just like we were saying, the child is of the father's seed, there's no such thing as mixed. Look what happened in Haiti. Right? When those Haitians were rebelling, the children of the French, they were loyal to their fathers. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you have a conflict, the so-called white man, look at Rwanda. You had the Hutu and the Tutsi. You had those lighter Rwandans that were the children of the white men that went and raped those, you know, native Rwandans. So the children had an affinity to their father. They're not going to join their father's people. No, they're not going to join their mother's people in most situations. You know, here it is, Eve could be blacker than 1,000 midnights, but she's going to say, I'm part Puerto Rican, I'm part Cuban. Why? Because she doesn't understand she is who your father is. So she's going to try to join some other designation or bring both sides together. You know, and this is why the book of Tobit 4 and 12, it tells us to marry within our nation. Nehemiah 13 and 25, he was actually fighting and plucking out their hair and begging them not to give their children to the children of the heathen. 1 Kings, the 11th chapter, what happened with King Solomon? Getting all these strange wives. You see what I'm saying? So, a major aspect of the doctrine is just knowing this parable of the wheat and the tares. You can't just judge on your eye. Just because it's somebody that seemingly has a melanin content, that don't mean they're Israelite. Why? Because he could be a seed of the wicked. You can bring out what you got.
This is Matthew 13 and 24.
God.
Another parable he put forth, saying unto them, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while he slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
Hey, that's what happened to us during our captivity. You know what I'm saying? The so-called oppressors could come and defile our woman with their seed whenever they want to, rape. He'd come and ravage them and leave her right there to you. And then not only that, when she get pregnant, he'll feed your baby to an alligator and use her breast milk to feed their baby. Ooh, the Most High is cold. Right? You bring this out one more time.
Matthew 13 and 24.
Woo!
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while he slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat
and
went his way.
And slept, you know, following 70 AD. And we were dispersed among the nations. You know what I'm saying? Having to be subject to every other nation. You know, that's when the so-called white man had his way with us. Right? The Most High told us, your women will be ravished. She'll open up her leg to every arrow, every quiver. Right? He told us what it'll be like to be a prisoner of war. Essentially, that's what we are. And a part of being a prisoner of war, you know, one aspect of being a prisoner is certain disciplines like the art of war, the art of marriage. We weren't able to practice that. We weren't able to raise up strong families. At any given time, if the so-called dominant society could find a better use for our child elsewhere or a better use for our women, we wish you would try to raise up as a man of the house and tell them what they better not do to your wife or better not do to your children. Right? You can bring this out one more time.
Matthew 13 and 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while he slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
Hey, and that good seed, the field is the earth. And that good seed is Israel. Right? The Most High planted us as the praise of the earth. We're supposed to be his representatives. But hey, the enemy, right? We sold to our enemies, Esau, Edom chiefly, but all of these 17 nations that come out of Adam. Psalms 83 and 3 said the nations are confederate against you. Right? Hey, and it said that also in 2nd Ezra. In 2nd Ezra 6 and 54 on down, it said the earth was made for our sake. These nations are like unto spittle. But the reason why they've gotten high above us is because we transgressed the laws that the Most High gave to us for our good. And he told us in his word, if we were to continue in this rebellion, this is what will happen. Your children will be given to strangers, an evil, wicked nation, a fierce countenance. So when you hear about gator bait and shit, what type of people would do that? A cruel nation of fierce countenance that had no regard for the old or the young. They had little babies out in plantations, picking cotton from can't see morning to can't see night. Right? Why? Because we were giving it to our enemy, just like the parable is saying right now. Right? The good man, the good shepherd, right? Yahweh, he sowed good seed into the field. But that wicked one came and he sowed seed among the good seed. Right? You can bring this out from the top one more time.
Matthew 13 and 24.
Gone.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while he slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat.
So what?
And sowed tares among the wheat.
Hey, so because among Jacob, you'll have the seed of Esau. You know, so-called white man will impregnate all of the native Israelites. And the babies will look, you know, like, they're phenotypically, they'll look like the mother. And see, this is why the so-called white man, you know the story of Pocahontas.
Yeah.
John Smith did just that.
Yeah.
He put seed in Pocahontas. And that seed came back saying that they are $5 Indian.
Yeah.
Those are the ones on the reservation saying that they're Cherokee.
Yeah.
Through their mother's line.
Right.
Yeah, your mama was raped. And now you're saying that I'm 1/4, I'm half Indian. I'm 1/4 Indian because your grandmama was raped.
Right.
But you're not an Indian. You are a Ter.
Right.
You are an Edomite, according to your biblical nationality. You are the seed of your father. That's what goes on in America all day, especially with the $5 Indians. If you go to the reservations and you see who is actually benefiting off of these casinos, benefiting off these land grants, goddamn children of Esau that raped the native women. This is what goes on. Why? Because the understanding of who you are in this society, it gets blurred. They have designation like mixed, right? Or you can say you are who your father is, or who you are who your mother is, rather, right? And the Bible doesn't push that, right? Oh, you can continue.
26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the household came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? He said unto them, An enemy have done this.
An enemy have done this, right? He's put his seed among the righteous seed. Oh, he sowed tares among the wheat, because a tare and the wheat looks identical. Right, you go ahead.
He said unto them, An enemy have done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together.
Hey, said what?
Let both grow together.
Said what?
Let both grow together until the harvest.
Until the harvest. Hey, Amos 99, bring that out real quick. Hey, so in this present time, it's really above our strength, right? The flesh is an indicator. If you look like a white man, we're not saying you're the wicked, but that's just an indicator that you could be among the wicked. But we understand that it's truly a spiritual thing. If there's spirit, the spirit that bears witness with our spirit. The spirit, John 6:63, the word that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. If they can get down with it, you know, hey, even though my grandmama's white, she got to go into slavery because that's the word. Hey, that's a hallmark and an indicator that you're not an Edomite. Because it said none of the wicked shall understand. We know who the wicked is in Malachi 1 and 3. The border of wickedness. So even if they can't fake it, it's no way that they can, you know, fool the spiritual discernment. And really at this time, right, we cannot even tell them that they're not an Israelite. Especially if they get the word, you know, they're bending the knee, right? But ultimately, the Most High is the one that's going to sift the wheat from among the tares. Just like it said, at the time of the end, hey, we can't do nothing about it because we can't distinguish spiritually who these are. It's above our strength. But it said at the time of the end, that reaper, he's going to come and separate the goats from the sheep, the wheat from the tares. Right? You can bring what you got.
This is Amos 9 and 9. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Hey, and that's the Most High gathering us up from amongst the nations where we've been scattered, right? He's going to sift us from among the nations where we've been scattered. And shall nowadays going to be, like he said, he'll leave 99 sheep to go find that one. Everyone that is predestined to be saved from the nations where they're scattered is going to be a full recovery. Like Esau, when he in the military, Saving Private Ryan, we gonna go get him. Right? So we can jump right back to Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter. Ecclesiastes 3:9. Because it said the blessing of the father, you know, is the foundation of the house. A man that fears the Lord, that is bold enough to put that woman in order, that is sound and balanced enough to give leadership to that household.